welcome to the Sunny Cottage, a beautiful house amid the relative poverty of an isolated outport community. Sunny Cottage serves as a symbol of the wealth and power of the outport merchant class at the turn of the 20th century. The house was built in 1909 and belonged to John Joseph Rose. He owned a fleet of banking schooners, as well as ships involved with the shore fishery. He also engaged in the export business and was a major employer in the community of decades. When Rose and his wife died in 1952, the house was passed on to John Stewart, who has maintained it as a private residence. Sunny Cottage is the largest and most affluent private dwelling in the community at Harbour Britain, and was as much a sign of Rose's importance in the community as it was in the residence. The house is located near the ocean with a large sloping garden in the front. Sunny Cottage is a 2.5-story building in a Queen Anne Revival style that was a popular design among the merchant class in the early part of the century, especially in nearby Grand Bank. The house has ornamental detail and heavy window treatment. The most distinctive feature may be the widow's walk on the roof. The walk provides people with a spectacular view of the surrounding land and harbour. Sunny Cottage was recognised as a registered heritage structure in February 1988. Let's go inside. I understand Sunny Cottage is celebrating its 100th anniversary. What activities will be taking place over the summer?
Anybody can drop by and go through. We have entertainment on some Saturdays, live entertainment, which is free. Saturday coming is Tom Chapman, and next Saturday is Victor Bunge. We got card games air. You can go through today. There's a card game for seniors every Wednesday. There's pea soup August the 7th. There's a birthday party scheduled for later in August. And there's a birthday party for the Stewart family August the 14th. And there's going to be different people in for that. Tracy Perry and Judy Foote. We have a museum day. August the 4th is a card game, which we will cater to our regulars first. And if we got room, we will take in extra people. And that will be a free card game and a meal.
What's the time and the cost of the tours?
The times were open from 10 o'clock in the morning till 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday 1 to 5, and it's $2 a dollar for students, and under 5 is free. So come by and see us and experience the walk through the path.
There are some items available at the Sunny Cottage, t-shirts for $10 and teddy bears for $12. So if you haven't been by for a tour, make a point of it this summer and experience a bit of history in your own backyard.
Children tend to spend more time outside than adults, and this puts them at greater risk of overexposure. Children with fair skin and freckles are especially at risk. Baby skin also has less natural protection against the sun's rays, meaning skin damage, such as sunburn, can happen more quickly than in adults. Always keep infants out of direct sunlight. Put strollers and playpens in the shade. Use stroller hoods or breathable fabric to cover infants in strollers when walking on sunny days. Try to keep your children out of the sun between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., or whenever the UV index is 3 or higher. Use sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher on your children's exposed skin. Reapply often, and don't forget their nose, ears, cheeks, and the tops of their feet. Use a waterproof sunscreen playing in or near the water, and reapply often. Have your children wear sunglasses with UV protection to protect their eyes. This message has been brought to you by the Community Youth Network.
Hi, my name is Jade Hickey with Hbtv, and today we're at Elliott Premises. During the period between March 2005 and January 2007, a redevelopment initiative was undertaken, converting the facility into an interpretation centre, performance theatre, and a marina. This development was greatly enhanced as a result of efforts by the federal and provincial governments to assist the community through a crisis resulting from the closure of the local fish processing operation. The unexpected closure of local fish plant in November 2004 resulted in approximately 350 workers losing their sole source of income. The 2 years since have been many changes to the landscape of Harbour Britain as new attractions were constructed and others renovated. Most of the work was completed by local workers displaced from the fish plant. Discover how these buildings were raised to new heights and the 10 steps to moving a storehouse with the power of the tides. Though still in the early stages of programming and interpretation development, residents and tourists alike will be able to visit and gain an appreciation of how this building helped the town of Harbour Britain through one of the most challenging periods in its history. Also located in the Elliott Premises is an internet cafe. Let's go and check it out. We're here at the internet cafe in Elliott Premises, where you can get tea and coffee and fresh baked goods daily. This is Jade Hickey reporting from Hbtv. Good evening, everyone. What do you think of the Great Canadian Dollar Store?
I think it is awesome. I myself go to Grand Falls and the other small communities to get the things for the birthday parties and every other kind of party. And right now I was told that if I got a party coming up in a couple months' time, just let these guys know and they'll supply us with every product that we need, the plates, the napkins, everything. We do not have to go out of town anymore. We can come here in Harbour Britain. I think it's awesome. I love it. Love it.
I think it's just wonderful to have the Great Canadian Dollar Store here. It's everything that you would want in your household, anything. From a needle to a haystack, that's what you're saying, and I'm sure it's from a needle to a haystack.
How was the crowd this morning at the Great Canadian Dollar Store?
We had a great crowd. They were very excited, and they say it's something that we needed in our town.
So why did you decide to open in Harbour Britain?
Well, I've got 3 other stores in central Newfoundland, and I live in Bayvert, so I thought this was another one in central Newfoundland that could be a great success. I came in, I really liked the community, met a lot of really nice people here, so I kind of got attached from my first trip. Took a while to get a lease in place and things here in the community, but we're quite excited and happy to be open this morning.
Did the community welcome you?
Yeah, it really did. I was quite enthused about the community right from the first time I came in. A lot of really nice people. I said it's probably one of the nicest towns I've ever been into.
I think it's a wonderful new business for Harbour Britain and the surrounding areas. I think they'll do great. I just came out and with 2 bags and it's great. Hopefully. I'd like the window washer and dryer, please.
Energy drinks claim to energize the user by providing a combination of ingredients that can include things like taurine and herbal extracts such as ginseng and ginkgo biloba. Did you know most research does not support the claims that the typical herbal ingredients found in energy drinks enhance mental and physical performance? Caffeine is the main stimulant found in these drinks. Caffeine is an addictive stimulant drug. Your body does not need caffeine to function properly. Health Canada recommends that caffeine intakes not exceed 2.5 milligram per kilogram of body weight per day. That means if you weigh 60 kilograms or 130 pounds, then you should not exceed 150 milligrams of caffeine per day. Energy drinks can contain up to 505 milligrams of caffeine per can. You can get withdrawal symptoms from using caffeine that include irritability, anxiety, fatigue, headache, depressed mood, reduced reaction time, and poor concentration. Caffeine use can cause the following negative symptoms: nervousness, anxiety, jitteriness, rapid heart rate, trouble sleeping, and gastrointestinal upset such as nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Improper use or overconsumption of energy drinks can also cause electrolyte imbalances, heart irregularities, elevated blood pressure, increased urination, dehydration, fainting, dizzy feelings, altered vision, sweating, exercise intolerance, and seizures. Also, ingredients in energy drinks can also interfere with prescription medication. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist for more information. You need to increase your energy the healthy way. Drink plenty of water, get adequate rest, be physically active, eat according to Canada's Food Guide, and be smart. Make responsible choices.
Hi, the Newfoundland Aquaculture Industry Association is an association representing all the commercial producers in Newfoundland and Labrador, and its main purpose is to promote the sustainable development of the industry across the province, the island, and so we're pleased to be able to be part of this beach cleanup today here in Harbour Breton, and my colleague here is going to explain a little bit about what we've done here.
The Harbour Breton cleanup is the third of 5 cleanups that we're doing in the Coast Bays region. The other 2 took place in McCallum and St. Albans a few weeks ago, and they were also very successful, like this one. We're just near completion of this one today. We had almost 30 people come out, and it was a very, very good turnout. Most of the beaches in the area were cleaned, and I guess we could talk a little bit about the debris we found, which is common everywhere in the region, which is plastics, ropes, household debris, you name it, we found it. Some good, some bad, but we cleaned most of it up, so we're really pleased about that. Naya's, this is their 3rd cleanup, like I said. The salmon growers held a couple of years back. They were also successful, and the aquaculture producers in the area were pleased, and they want us to continue with them. So we were successful with some funding from Human Resources, Labour and Employment, and we hired an individual, Wanda House, who's actually leaving us right now, and we're hiring someone in a couple of weeks. So she's going to be organizing the next 2, which will be held in the next few weeks in Conn River and St. Joseph's Cove. So hopefully they'll be as successful as these last 3.
I think the overall objective is also to create general awareness among people around the coastal communities too about not only about garbage, but more awareness about the environment and and those types of things, because the aquaculture industry in general takes the environment and the health and safety of the environment very, very seriously, and so that's one of the other things we like to promote. It was really nice today. You said there were 30 people here, but most of them were youth, young people from the community, but lots of other groups. I think the Knights of Columbus were represented here, the town, I don't know, 2 or 3 other groups.
Aquaculture companies themselves.
Aquaculture companies themselves, and it was great to see everybody participate in that. And so it's about creating general awareness about our environment and our coastal areas, and the need to to keep it clean, I guess.
Cool.
On Wednesday, July 14th, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., Naya's Coast to Bays cleanup days took place in Harbour Breton. With almost 30 individuals taking part, many of the beautiful beaches in Harbour Breton were cleaned. Volunteers didn't hesitate to pull their weight and work as a group to help make a difference in another Coast to Bays community. Items found were things such as twine, rope, plastics, clothing, tires, and more. Following the morning cleanup, the very tired workers enjoyed a boil-up of fresh blue mussels and various snacks and refreshments for lunch. Special thanks to the businesses and organizations, staff and volunteers of Simcor Marine Environmental, Northern Harvest Sea Farms, Cook Aquaculture, Naya, Harbour Breton Harbour Authority, Knights of Columbus, Elliott's Premises, Town of Harbour Breton and Sunny Cottages. Special thanks to the Harbour Breton Community Youth Network for offering the Youth Centre for the day and helping organize the volunteers and luncheon. Naya is very pleased in the success of the Coast to Bays cleanup days and is looking forward to the next 2 cleanups that will take place in Conn River and St. Joseph's Cove in the near future. Dates to be determined soon. If you have any questions or would like to learn more about this or any of Naya's ongoing projects, please feel free to contact us at any time. Protecting our environment. Together, we can make a difference.
Marine debris is a general term for garbage in the ocean and on beaches. It's estimated that 6.4 million tons of garbage go into the world's oceans every year. Up to 80% of marine debris comes from the land, blowing and washing off beaches, parking lots, and roadsides. It's carried to the sea by rivers, sewage systems, and storm drains. But even if all our garbage is carefully bagged and collected, it can still make it into the ocean from poorly managed landfill sites. Marine debris is also lost or discarded from boats and ships of all types and sizes. When people see garbage on a beach, they may think it was left there by people living in the area. In fact, almost all of the debris found on beaches comes from the ocean. Lightweight materials that float in seawater can be moved great distances by wind and ocean currents. Large amounts of these materials can wash up onto beaches that face into prevailing winds and currents, while other shorelines may be washed clean as the winds and currents carry the debris away. For thousands of years, coastal people had combed beaches for valuable or unusual items. But during the 1980s, beachcombers around the world began to notice more and more plastic garbage. The oceans circulate in a complex system of currents which act as a transport system for sea creatures and also, unfortunately, for floating garbage. As a result, some areas of the ocean collect debris while others remain relatively clean. An area off the coast of California which collects debris has been named the Great Garbage Patch. It's estimated that 3 million tons of debris have accumulated in this area. Huge amounts of this debris also wash upon the shores of islands in this region. In the Atlantic Ocean, currents funnel debris towards the Gulf of Mexico from a huge area which includes the southeastern USA, Mexico, Central and South America, and Africa. These currents eventually form the Gulf Stream, a major current which carries debris north towards Atlantic Canada. In turn, the North Atlantic Current carries debris from the northeast coast of Newfoundland and Labrador towards Europe and Africa. Atlantic Canada is influenced by 3 major currents: the Gulf Stream, the Labrador Current, and outflow from the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Sable Island is a low-lying, uninhabited island in the midst of these converging currents. Researchers study the island's fragile ecosystem, which includes a population of wild horses, as well as seals, seabirds, and leatherback turtles, and monitor the remarkable quantities of marine litter which wash onto its shores. Beach survey data from the late 1980s showed that litter washed up at a rate of almost 20,000 items per month. 92% of these items were found to be plastic, with approximately 20% clearly originating from the fishing industry, such as net fragments, floats, trap tags, and fish boxes. Foreign labels showed that some items came from distant continents, including Africa and Central America, as well as the United States and Canada. A survey of beaches conducted in 2004 in Placentia Bay also revealed large accumulations of marine debris. Over 90% of the debris was plastic, and a high percentage appeared to be fishing related. Due to the prevailing winds and currents in the bay, marine debris collects largely on the southwest-facing beaches. Most of the communities facing southwest had cleaned up their beaches at least once during the months before the survey. But it was the uninhabited beaches that really told the tale. This is La Manche Bay, an isolated, uninhabited beach with no road access. This is North Wild Cove at the southern end of Long Island. There are no permanent residents on any of the Placentia Bay Islands. All of the debris on these beaches was washed up out of the ocean. This is St. Croix Bay, the worst of all. Large amounts of plastic were floating in the water, although this beach is at least a 20-minute boat ride from the nearest community. Certainly it looks bad, but if nobody lives there, why should we care? The answer lies in the nature of plastic and our throwaway lifestyle. In the recent past, almost all the materials in daily use were biodegradable, part of the natural cycle of life. Toys, clothes, diapers, and shoes were made of natural materials such as wood, cotton, metal, glass, or leather. Many people fished, hunted, and grew their own vegetables. Things bought from a store came wrapped in paper and string, or in a paper bag, and were mostly local products. Most fishing nets and ropes were made from natural fibers such as hemp and cotton, and buoys were made of cork or blown glass. But not anymore. In the 1960s, plastics such as nylon and polyester and polypropylene gradually replaced traditional fishing nets, rope, and buoys, and the use of plastics in consumer items and packaging grew steadily with the introduction of products such as disposable razors and polystyrene cups. In the 1970s, the use of plastic continued to grow rapidly. By 1977, plastic soda bottles began replacing glass bottles, and plastic bags were introduced at supermarkets and department stores as an alternative to paper bags. In 1980, butter and margarine was first sold in polypropylene tubs, and soon most dairy products were packaged in plastic containers. The creation of plastic was probably one of the greatest inventions of all time. Durable, light, cheap, waterproof, and versatile. Not surprisingly, in just a few decades, plastic has become the world's most used material, and much of it is packaging and one-use disposables. We are producing and discarding plastic at an ever-increasing rate, but it doesn't biodegrade, so it's starting to pile up. Some scientists estimate that plastic can last 300 to 600 years. Others say it lasts forever, but we really don't know yet. We do know, though, that plastic cannot be digested or used as a source of food by any living creature. Unfortunately, many animals mistake plastic for food, and not just gulls feeding at the dump. Even creatures that spend most of their lives far from the land are affected. Scientists have documented the consumption of plastic by 177 marine species. Seabirds such as fulmars, petrels, albatross, and shearwaters are particularly vulnerable because they feed at the sea surface. They often mistake floating plastic for food items, with deadly results. Plastic is not softened by the digestive juices like real food, so hard plastic objects like disposable lighters can block the intestine, causing death. A belly full of plastic may cause the animal, like this fulmar, to feel too full to eat, while it is actually starving to death. Sea turtles ride the ocean currents and can travel great distances. The favorite food of some sea turtles is jellyfish, which come in many different colors, shapes, and sizes. Balloons and plastic bags can look a lot like jellyfish and are often eaten by mistake. This plastic was found in the stomach of a dead leatherback sea turtle entangled in fishing gear off the coast of Newfoundland. Although plastic doesn't biodegrade, sunlight can weaken its structure over time in a process known as photodegradation, and wave action gradually breaks the plastic debris into pieces. The pieces become smaller and smaller, but they remain plastic and are virtually impossible to clean up. Scientists studying the Great Garbage Patch report that plastic particles outnumber plankton 6 to 1. These persistent plastic particles are probably the greatest threat to marine life, because even tiny plankton and larval fish are affected. Even if we stop putting plastic into the oceans today, plastic particles will continue to be released for hundreds of years from the slow breakdown of the millions of tons of plastic already circulating in the world's oceans. There is also a concern that some plastic can be toxic, and in the ocean, floating plastic may absorb harmful pollutants like PCBs and DDT from the sea surface. Marine debris also entangles fish, seabirds and turtles, and marine mammals. Six-pack rings, rope, fragments of netting, and monofilament line can be deadly. This lucky seal was rescued and later released by researchers on Sable Island, but most entangled creatures die a slow, agonizing death. Lost fishing gear accounts for only about 5% of the total debris found in the ocean, but in relation to entanglement, fishing gear is the most serious threat. Lost pots and traps can continue to fish indefinitely. This trap, photographed by divers in Trinity Bay, Newfoundland, contained the remains of 10 to 12 otters at different stages of decomposition. Traditional wooden pots may be less problematic than those made of metal and plastic netting because they break up more easily and may not keep fishing for as long. Lost nets, known as ghost nets, can also continue to fish. In deep water, these nets may drift in the currents for thousands of miles and continue to fish for years. In shallow, rocky areas, nets heavy with fish sink and snag on the bottom and often form into tangled balls of netting and dead fish, which then attract and capture scavengers such as lobster, crab, and flatfish. These huge balls of netting can weigh up to a ton, and in heavy seas can roll along the bottom, damaging fragile habitat and tearing off pieces of net which are then released into the water column. Lost nets are also extremely hazardous to scuba divers and vessels. In 2005, a Russian mini-submarine was trapped 190 meters below the sea surface, tangled in lost fishing gear. Happily, the crew was rescued by a remotely operated vehicle after a 3-day ordeal. Boat propellers also get entangled by netting, rope, and fishing line. Floating debris, especially plastic bags and wrapping, can clog water intakes and pumping systems, which can cause engine failure. These incidents can lead to expensive repairs and even life-threatening situations. Large items are a collision hazard and may also damage fishing and aquaculture gear. Fuel, lubricant, and solvent containers, paint buckets, and personal hygiene items can contaminate aquaculture gear and fishing nets and ruin catches. Marine debris has serious effects on marine life and the coastal environment. Litter-covered beaches and floating trash affect our enjoyment of the natural beauty and have a negative effect on all the people who live, work, and play there. They create hazards for our children and pets and affect tourism development. Walter Manning, owner of Bird Island Resort in St. Bride's, Newfoundland, is seen here on his daily mission, cleaning up the beach near his resort. Beach cleanups are the easiest and most common method of removing marine debris, but they can be expensive, and local municipalities and volunteer organizations often have to cover the costs. Many coastal communities need to organize several beach cleanups every year to keep their beaches clean. Marine trash skimmers, such as the Trash Cat, have been developed to remove floating debris from busy harbors and other heavily polluted areas. High-speed, vertical conveyors create a suction effect which draws in floating garbage. Over 50 Trash Cats currently remove floating debris from heavily littered areas such as New York and Baltimore harbors. Local programs also focus on the cleanup of sensitive marine habitats such as coral reefs. Unfortunately, these types of cleanups are not practical on a large scale unless groups like fish harvesters, government agencies, and research institutes work together. One such project in Placentia Bay, Newfoundland, recovered 60 nets that contained lumpfish, seal, redfish, flounder, lobster, and 30,000 pounds of rotting cod. In Northern Europe, 7 countries have joined forces in the Fishing for Litter at Sea program. Litter bags and dockside removal services are provided to fishers who bring marine litter ashore for proper disposal. Poaching and vandalism were once significant causes of lost fishing gear. But now, through their unions, committees, and integrated oceans management teams, fish harvesters are finding new ways to resolve conflicts over access to marine areas and resources. Accidental loss of fishing gear has also been reduced by the use of modern gear location and retrieval systems. Various programs recognize marinas and vessels committed to pollution prevention with a system of eco-ratings. A good eco-rating can be a marketing advantage with today's environmentally aware consumers. Government regulations also encourage responsible practices. In Canada, DFO requires that gear is tagged, lost nets are reported, and that gear is checked regularly. Fish harvesters can be fined for abandoning nets at sea. And increasingly, traps and pots are required to have escape devices to reduce ghost fishing if the gear is lost. This is accomplished by including a section that will rust or biodegrade within a set period of time. The Canada Shipping Act prohibits the discharge of garbage into Canadian waters, and an international convention bans the dumping of all forms of plastic into the sea. Although the world's fishing fleets still dump thousands of tons of debris into the sea each year, increased awareness is making a difference and steadily reducing this practice. Because marine debris comes from so many different sources, people in all walks of life must be part of the solution. Around the world, from Australia to Canada, education and awareness programs are the first step in preventing marine debris. As awareness grows, more and more people are sorting, recycling, and composting their garbage. People are also refusing products with packaging that is not biodegradable or recyclable, or choosing products with minimal packaging. Plastic bags are a particular concern. Over 1 million plastic bags are used and discarded worldwide every minute of every day. Plastic litter is not only ugly, it clogs streams and storm drains, causing serious flooding. As a result, plastics are becoming increasingly regulated. For example, some places now require consumers to pay for plastic shopping bags, while others have completely banned non-biodegradable bags. Science is rising to the challenge by developing a new generation of plastics that will biodegrade in the natural environment. These new plastics could greatly reduce pollution from common disposable products such as bags, diapers, tampons, and packaging. We used to think that the oceans were so huge that we could never have a serious impact on them. Now we realize that our activities do have serious consequences, but we are also solving our problems by working together. Change can be positive, and we can all be part of the solution.
Did you know 1 in 5 murders in Canada is a result of domestic violence? Every minute of every day, a woman or child in Canada is sexually assaulted. Approximately 12,000 seniors in Canada experience physical abuse. Over 60% of all sexual assault victims are children and youth.